Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Good friend of the show, Mark, sent me a note yesterday. Said, Steve, check out what the Attorney General is up to in Ohio. This is good news. This is from a press release issued by the Ohio Attorney General. Yost sues used car dealer for violating Ohio consumer laws. And, states have got attorneys general, and the Attorney General's job is to enforce the laws on behalf of the state. So quite often the AG is doing criminal prosecutions and things of that nature. But, for instance, in Michigan, for the longest time, the AG had a consumer protection division. And I knew people who worked there because I talked to them all the time. And so I'd tell people, if you have a problem that I can't help you with, I'd say, but if you want to, you file a complaint with the Attorney General's office. And the AG would bring in the complaints and examine them, and they couldn't handle them all. But when they saw something popping up over and over again, they go, oh, this is a problem. And so here's a situation where the AG spotted something happening at a used car dealer and decided to go after the used car dealer. So Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost is suing a Cincinnati area used car dealer for allegedly failing to provide customers with titles for the vehicles they bought, which is a violation of Ohio's consumer protection laws. Now, keep in mind that different states handle titles differently. In some states, if you've got a lien on the vehicle, the lien holder has your title until you pay off the lien. Some states, they send you the title, and it simply indicates on the title that there is, in fact, a lien holder. And later on, if you pay it off, the lien holder sends you a lien termination statement or equivalent to indicate that you put this with the title, and next time you pass it along, you can pass along a clean title, unencumbered by that lien. So here people are saying, I bought a car, didn't get the title. So the title work wasn't being done properly. The complaint was filed in Claremont County. It names a dealership and its owner. And the dealership is Superior Auto Mart. And it follows payouts totaling $14,000 from the state's title defect rescission fund to resolve two consumer complaints. So apparently, the state's got a fund to help people out with problems like this, but they don't like to pay that money out on behalf of somebody else. So in total, though, there have been 23 complaints against this business. And I've mentioned this before. Being a used car dealer is not that hard. It ain't that hard. In Michigan, you can actually go online and find a thing called the dealer manual. And the dealer manual is put out by the state, but it's put online as a PDF. You can print it out. And it literally says, are you a used car dealer, a Class B dealer? In that case, you need to know how this stuff works in this chapter we wrote just for you. New car dealer, this chapter. Then there's going to have a chapter which all car dealers have got to follow. And so there's going to be in there a whole section on what you do when you sell a car. Okay? What you have the buyer fill out, what you got to do with the title you got from the person who traded the car in, and then what you got to send to the state, what you give to the customer. And the biggest problem that I've seen with places is they get behind in the paperwork, or they simply stop doing the paperwork for whatever reason. So the dealership continues to operate despite concerns about compliance with state consumer laws. So consumers should proceed with caution, presumably when dealing with Superior. Ohioans deserve a smooth ride when buying a vehicle, Yo said. We can't let dishonest business owners take advantage of customers and ruin the reputation of Ohio's small businesses. Now, that title defect rescission fund is used to reimburse consumers when a dealership fails to provide a valid title, ensuring that buyers either receive the title and keep the car or get their money back and return the car, preventing them from being left with an unusable vehicle. I remember there have been times where people have called me and said, hey, Steve, I bought a car. It's got a temporary tag on it. The temporary tag expired. And the temporary tag is designed to get you through that period where the paperwork is being done so you can drive your car. If you get pulled over, you can show the cop that you've got all the information that the tag's been applied for and all that. But I've had people tell me, temporary tag expired. I never got anything. Don't have a title. Don't have a registration. What do I do? And now you're wondering, was the paperwork ever put through properly? And I've talked to people who've bought cars before. And see, here's the thing. Because I deal with cars and car sales all day long, when I go to buy a car, and I've bought a few cars in my life, I know what all the documents are, and I know what documents I should see. Okay? And so if you're signing documents and I ask you, do you remember signing this? Do you remember signing that? I've had people go, no, I don't remember that at all. Don't remember. Now, I don't know if they didn't sign it or if they just forgot it, but it makes you wonder. So that fund is there, interestingly enough, But the Attorney General urges those who have faced similar issues with Superior Auto Mart or other used car dealers throughout the state to report their experiences. Such reports help protect potential buyers from fraudulent practices. For those looking to buy a used car, the AG's office advises that you do the following things. Check with the AG's office and the Better Business Bureau for any complaints against the dealership. And I've had people say, but Steve, the Better Business Bureau is not what it's cracked up to be. And I agree. Better Business Bureau gets a lot of its funding from big business. And so as a result, they tend to be very, very pro-business. However, if they take complaints against somebody and you look, oh my gosh, look at all these complaints. I think those are a little bit more valid than, like, say, Yelp complaints or Google or whatever else rates businesses. But if there's no complaints with the Better Business Bureau, that means nothing. If there are complaints, it's something. It's something. Get everything in writing and read the fine print. And I've said that before. And one of the most important things you can do is when a salesperson is talking to you and they tell you something that is important and pertinent to the deal, ask them if they'll put that in writing. And if they backpedal, then you realize that what they're doing is they're just moving their mouth to make noise. And I'm deadly serious in this, because a purchase agreement or an application for title both have places on them for other, okay? And I've had someone tell me before that a salesperson said something about the car. And they said, will you put that in writing? They go, no, we're not allowed to. You're not allowed to? And they go, no, we're not allowed to alter any of these documents. Why is there a big blank box that says other and it's empty, implying that you can put things in there? And elsewhere in the documents, you'll find language that says nothing said to you by a salesperson is binding on the dealership unless reduced to writing here and countersigned by someone else, meaning that they could put it there and then have someone else countersign it, except that they don't want to because what they're telling you ain't true. Take the vehicle for an extended test drive. I've talked to people before who bought a car without test driving it. Brand new. I know somebody, I've spoken to people before, who test drove a car and said, I like this car, but I'd rather have it in blue or black or what. So the guy goes, I got one of those too. Let's go write it up. Person didn't test drive it. I go, why not? And they go, it's the same car, different color. Okay, and so when you got in the car and noticed it pulled to one side, what'd you do then? Well, I brought it back to the dealership and complained. Okay, would you have discovered that during a test drive? Probably. Okay, now I bet you wish you test drove it. I never say that last one, though, because that's implied, right? Ask about previous damage, defects, and repair history. A vehicle's history can be reviewed through the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System, or nmvtis.gov. And that's an interesting thing. It's kind of like a Carfax, but it's one you can get for free. It's not comprehensive, but then again, none of these things are. And so if you ask about previous damage, has this car ever been in an accident? And they go, no, it hasn't. And you later find out it has been. The question then, of course, is, did you get that in writing? No? Okay. Can you prove they said it? Well, no, I heard them say it. Yeah, they're going to deny they said it. But they're also going to say, we didn't know. But of course, they shouldn't be saying things they don't know. But the problem is that once you set foot onto a dealership lot, all kinds of things start happening with truth and veracity. Ask a trustworthy mechanic to check the car for problems. I literally could not guess how many times I've heard in my life, bought a used car, took it straight to my mechanic to have him check it out. Turns out it's got all kinds of problems. Put it up on a hoist, said, come over here, take a look at this. The frame is held together by chicken wire and zip ties. There's things underneath that car that look like they're fabricated out of coffee cans. And, I don't know, a family of possums. Just throw that into the mix. And the mechanic says, you never should have bought this car. And so they took it back to the dealership, who said, well, but you did buy the car. It's yours now. Get your car off our lot. And that's because they did the order of operations backwards. Inspect the car, then buy. Not buy the car, then inspect the car. Because you can't act upon the inspection other than fixing things yourself. So you don't mind that, do it that way. And I've had people say, but Steve, dealership won't let me have a mechanic look at the car. Really? What do you think that means? Consumers in Ohio who do not receive a valid vehicle title within 30 days of the purchase date are urged to contact Yost's office. So he's taking this quite seriously. but it is required by Ohio law that you get a title within 30 days of the purchase. Like I said, most dealerships have no problem doing the paperwork. Most dealerships have got people who are assigned and designated to do nothing but paperwork. There's some person at a dealership, usually, whose job it is to fill out the paperwork, double check it, make copies of everything, and then send the originals off and get them done. And most dealerships have got no trouble with this at all. But here's a dealer that apparently has a problem because there have been 23 complaints that sound alike and at least 3 people who had issues, and it cost the state some money to fix. The state ain't happy about that, so it's Superior Auto Mart. And the complaint says that they are in Claremont County, and Mark sent that. Thanks a lot. So Yost, the AG of Ohio, sues used car dealer for violating Ohio consumer laws. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Rainstorms will travel thousands of miles against prevailing winds for the opportunity to rain on a tent.